Yeah, Amber, Steve, first things first, I want to show you the scene that's emerged here in probably the last 20 to 25 minutes. You mentioned those barricades that have gone up around the flagpole. There's a gentleman, I don't know, Matt, if you can get a shot of him here above the American flag. He's holding a new American flag. He identified himself as Glenn Benton of Chapel Hill. He's a former UNC grad who came down here when he saw those images of the flag being taken down and then carried off this part of campus earlier, brought his own flag, and he intends to raise this flag back up. We've been listening to him engage in conversation. It's been mostly calm and quiet. At times things have flared up, but speaking with pro-Palestinian protesters, saying that he believes the flag stands and represents their ability to protest. But kind of an interesting scene here, and that's something that we've heard from several students over the course of the day, how they want to hear more constructive dialogue take place here as well. And now we're also to our left here seeing a few police officers walk down. They were just on the steps of the South Building a few moments ago, but I believe now we're rolling on that video earlier in the day of those police officers as well as the interim chancellor who were being sprayed with water, effectively forced to retreat out of the area. Okay, thank you. Now we're back live here. I just want to point out you have a few police officers who have just come down. There haven't been any law enforcement officers really, with the exception of Chief Brian James, who was observing this scene for a little while. These three officers are the first that we've seen in the last, I would say, hour and a half or so. I also want to point out that the Alamance County Sheriff's Office arrived and brought an armored truck that's parked around the corner from where we're standing now. Those officers have not been deployed in any sense. They're all back there. We've asked the university for an explanation as to why we're there and how long we can expect them to stay here. But obviously we'll be keeping an eye on this interaction as now we see protesters and folks gathered here engaging with police for the first time. If we have time, I do want to show that video that we had earlier today as well of the interim chancellor and law enforcement out in the middle of campus as they were being sprayed with water, had water bottles thrown at them. It was quite a wild scene here, really much more intense even than we're seeing right now before police pepper sprayed at least one student. Really a chaotic scene in the middle of campus. So this is far from the most intense that we've seen this scene. I'm going to send it back to you guys so I can head back down there and get a better sense of what exactly is happening behind me, because again, this is the first time we've seen law enforcement now engage with these protesters in the last few hours. So we'll send it back to you and we'll get you another update here when we have it.
Yeah, we'll see you again in a few minutes. Go check it out, Sean, and we'll look forward to more. Thank you.
Yeah, law enforcement engaging with those folks as well. The school has been doing the same, and disappointed is how UNC school leaders are describing the incidents that played out very early today at Polk Place.
A total of 36 people were detained after university police moved in this morning, telling those student demonstrators they needed to leave the quad. About a half hour later, the police did begin detaining people, and some of them were actually arrested and taken to the Orange County Jail.
Cindy Bay has been on campus all day long covering this. She joins us live in Chapel Hill now with our live team coverage continuing. Cindy, what's the latest?
Yeah, Amber, and going off of what Steve mentioned, we heard that of the 36 protesters, 6 of them were arrested. Now, all of them have been released, but among the 6 people who were arrested, we were told that 3 of them were UNC Chapel Hill students, and so overall, among the 36 protesters who were detained, we're hearing that at least 16 of them were identified as UNC Chapel Hill students, and the other were identified as people who were not affiliated with the university. And so we haven't seen any more arrests that have been made since the encampment this morning. But as Sean mentioned, and as you can see behind me, there's still a little bit of tension rising around the flagpole.
Tensions flared at UNC Chapel Hill, where pro-Palestine protests continued for the 5th day, starting with police breaking up the encampment at the quad early Tuesday morning.
It was the most shameful thing that I have seen on this campus, to see police in full riot gear arresting students, dragging them out of tents, dragging them across the quad, zip-tied, handcuffed.
30 people were detained and released on site. 6 people were arrested and charged with trespassing and were later released on a written promise to appear. UNC says 3 of the protesters arrested are UNC Chapel Hill students, and the other 3 are not affiliated with the university.
I mean, I still feel a little unsafe walking around on campus. I really hope they don't interrupt commencement. I know myself, my parents, and a lot of other parents and students are really nervous about that, both Jewish and non-Jews.
And so you can see that now fences have been put up around the flagpole. And then as far as the upcoming commencement, we haven't heard any impacts to that. And so back to the 6 people who are arrested, we're told that they're charged with trespassing. Reporting in Chapel Hill, Cindy Bay, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.